from waking up, she wasn't in a position to explain why she and her daughter had lived for so long in the non-magic world, masquerading as human. Hopefully M's father could provide some answers instead. M said she knew nothing about him, but if he was the one who'd been paying Daniela Clarke's medical bills, the hospital must surely have his name and contact details. "Okay, see you later then." Jewel returned to her chair. Dash should have left then. He wanted to leave, but he couldn't ignore Jewel's desire to be more than friends now that he knew about it. "Hey, do you want to hang out this evening?" he asked before he could change his mind. "We should talk." It would no doubt turn into the most awkward conversation they'd ever had, but he needed to do it. It wasn't fair of him to allow Jewel to continue, hoping for something that would never happen. "Yeah, okay, great." "Cool." Dash hurried down the guild's main staircase, across the foyer, and into the room with bare walls, used for accessing the fairy paths. "Do you mind opening a doorway for me?" he asked the woman standing guard just inside the door. "Still haven't found that griffin-gifted girl, huh?" "Nope." "I hope you do," the woman replied as she walked to the wall and raised her stylus. "I heard she's a dangerous one." "Yeah," Dash muttered. "Extremely dangerous. I plan to find her." The woman stepped back as part of the wall pulled away to reveal the darkness of the fairy paths beyond. Dash walked forward. Once the light had vanished behind him, he focused his thoughts on the oasis hidden in the middle of a desert thousands of miles away. Minutes later, he hurried up the porch steps of the little white house on one side of the oasis, past a few closed doors, and into the surveillance room. A row of glass orbs lined 3 of the 4 walls, and within each orb was a miniature form of a different part of the oasis. Magic connected each orb to the enchanted bugs that flew around outside, displaying everything the bugs saw. Vi was bent over, staring intently into one of the orbs, while Calla and Chase sat in front of another one. "What can you see?" Dash asked, not bothering with a greeting. "Oh, Dash, hey," Vi said as she turned to face him. "The orbs show that M left during the night. Just beyond the dome layer, she opened a doorway to the paths and went through it." "She must have taken someone's stylus." "Yes, there was one missing from our kitchen this morning." "I just don't understand," Calla said, her finger swiping repeatedly across the orb in front of her as she moved backwards in time through the scenes it displayed. "Why would she leave?" Vi shook her head as she shrugged. "Any number of reasons, I suppose. Maybe she wanted to see one of her old friends, or maybe she remembered something that could help her mother. What's far more worrying is the fact that I can't find her. What could possibly be shielding her?" "Nothing good," Chase muttered. "Dash, you never told me what happened when I couldn't find you and M yesterday," Vi continued. "Remember when I came to meet the 2 of you at her aunt's house?" "Oh, yes." Dash cursed inwardly, with the kind of words his mother wouldn't approve of, at having forgotten, yet again, to mention that strange place and the people who had taken him and M there. "I don't know where we were, but it was weird. Everything seemed drained of color, and parts of it were sort of smudged, unclear or unformed, and we couldn't access the fairy paths. We ended up running from some shadowy creature I've never seen before, and somehow we found ourselves near the tear in the veil, but not on the human side and not on the fae side. Somewhere, I don't know, maybe it wasn't even real. Maybe it was some kind of hallucination, anyway." He continued with a deep breath. "We were there because of the Unseelies, the prince and princess." "Seriously?" Chase looked away from the orb he'd been examining. "Yes, that girl who was at Chevalier House for a few days, Aurora, is actually the Unseelie princess." "So that's what she was doing at Chevalier House," a new voice said from the doorway. Dash looked around and saw Rin standing there. "Aurora wanted M to run away with her. She was obviously planning to take M back to the Unseelie Court." "You didn't think to mention any of this last night?" Calla said to Dash, an accusatory edge to her voice. "To be honest, I didn't think of it at all. Em said she was going to tell me what happened later, since I was..."